Here's part 2 of planting a late season garden. No, not late season. Planting a garden in July. And we've planted this corn, I think the first week of July. And it's already, some of it's shin height right here. We put some fertilizer to it. We've weeded it a couple times, and I think that we're gonna end up putting some straw down to cover it up. You see we got this fabric covering the rows that's coming along. Right here, we just harvested this sweet corn yesterday, and it is ready to come out. So we'll do that when it's not so wet on the outside. Look right here. We came through and planted some peas and some Mississippi purple peas. These are the Mississippi purples right here. And on this side, it's just regular old Crowder peas. And they're both coming up. These have been planted for about, I think we planted them Monday, and today is Sunday, so they're coming up pretty good. If you look back in that other video, you'll see that we said it was not preferable to just turn that grass under because it rots and everything else. And as you see right here, look at this. That just came back. It just replanted itself. And I got some peas coming up around it, so we're gonna have to do something about that. I don't know what we'll do. I don't know if we'll hoe it or if we'll pick it by hand, but we're gonna have to do something about it. Next row is corn, I believe. Nope, that's more peas. So we got more peas in this row right here. I think, well, we'll know here in a couple weeks. This is sunflower seeds. I wouldn't expect them to come up yet because we planted them just in the last couple days. And right here, we have pumpkins. We've got pumpkins on, where you at? This side. And right here, we've got borage. And right there, we've got more peas. And I would doubt that they've come up yet, but let's go look. And what we did on this side is we just, oh look, I got some coming up. Look at that. Look right there. There's a little pea coming up. On this side, we did not plant them in rows. We bunched them. So we just tilled it with the BCS, spreaded them by hand, and then we took just a leaf rake and we covered them up. But this is all just an update. I want to show you on the inside in here what the phase 2 of our second planting is going to be. Number 1, it's cleaning this junk up. But we've got some tomatoes in here, and our tomatoes are about played out. You can see we've got a couple flowers on here, and we'll get some more. I'm gonna leave this one row in right here. Number 1, because we've got these cherry tomatoes that'll keep on producing. I'll just keep going. And number 2, because we've got some Cherokee purples that we planted about halfway through the life of these. So these Cherokee purples should be coming in here pretty soon, or fruiting, that is. Let's see if we've got any flowers. We got a couple flowers on here. You see right there? And then we've got some Romas down here towards the end. Now, you might see a crate or 2 of these around. What we've been doing is this. We've been going and picking up all the rotten fruit and the green fruit off of this other row over here. And all we're gonna do is just feed that to our hogs, because we're taking out this first row of tomatoes. See right here? We had another whole row of tomatoes, and we just took off all of our plastic clips. See, these are doing poorly, and that's how they were. We just took off all of our plastic clips, and we started taking off all the strings. The kids got a little bit overzealous and then went ahead and did part of this row too. So, you know, we'll probably end up taking out this row as well. But the important thing is look at where we took up our plastic. See that? And they've rolled back the irrigation. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take some fabric, and I'm going to cover up all of these weeds on the side. And a lot of that's wheat. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's germinated, or some of it's wheat. And it's just weeds and stuff. Looks like there's some morning glories out there through it. And I'm going to cover up that, and we're going to let it burn out for a few weeks. Might leave it on here until my next planting that I'm going to plant right here in the row is done. But more importantly, we've got to get all these weeds out, and we've got to decide, what are we going to do about the ground? We've got a couple options. We could till it up and just plant straight into it, which is okay, I guess. Or we could add more organic matter. Now, if you remember over here on the sides, we did that. And look, underneath this, we've got a layer of wheat straw. Right here in our row, we've got a layer of wheat straw. And on this side where we walked to pick a lot of tomatoes, it's pretty well stayed down. Now over here where we didn't walk as much, and it was a little bit thinner, it didn't do as well. So, I think that the best option is to add another layer of organic material. Now come out here to the truck and I'll show you what it's going to be. It is flower and vegetable garden soil. Now, you could do what I'm doing, and I'll tell you why I did that in a second, or you could go some other routes. Other route is your own compost, which we do have here. But you kind of see where it's located at here in the high tunnel. It's hard to get to. So I'm going to have to scoop up our compost into a wheelbarrow, move it over there, dump it, spread it, all that kind of stuff. Or I could have bought actual compost in these sacks like this and hauled it in there. And I think that would have worked too, but I think a lot of the problem with that is that it might not all be broken down as to where this stuff is going to be. And we're just going to take this, spread it out across where we're going to plant at, and plant directly into this stuff without turning over the ground in there. Why would we not turn over the ground in there? Well, think back to our garden outside. What will happen is every weed seed that's in there is going to germinate, and we're going to have to deal with those again. So I'm not going to till up the ground beneath it. I'm going to add this on top, and after this rotation's done, we'll till this in and incorporate it into our soil so that it's better soil. You know, it's got the organic matter from this, which is probably just compost. If you buy sacked, what's it say, flower and vegetable garden soil, it's really not what you and I would think of as soil. It's a compost that's been worked down till it's not working anymore, as in the compost isn't composting anymore. And that's why we're going to use this. But before we lay it, we got to figure out what we're going to do with our weeds in the rows. I could till it, which we already said we don't want to do. I could weed eat it down, but I'm wearing Crocs and my church jeans, so I don't want the grass all over me, which I think would work. It's just a preference right now. The other thing is, there's not that many weeds through here. I'm just going to get a hoe and come down the row and hit this grass and knock it out real quick, cut it off. And if a little bit comes up through our bagged garden soil, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll pull it by hand. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. All right, that's done. It wasn't that big a deal because it was just grass growing up right there through the holes where we'd planted the tomatoes at. You know, you can kind of see, well, no, you can't see it, but that's what happened. And when I was doing it, I considered I'm probably just gonna roll out some of this fabric on both sides. So let's go ahead and do that next. One side's done, and we're not gonna worry about these holes. See them? There will be grass come through that, but it's gonna be negligent. And I'm also not gonna worry about pinning that side down, at least for right now, because we've still gotta take out these other tomatoes. This side does not reach over to the side. Also not a deal. See that grass right there? I'm not too worried about it, but if I rethink it after we get this rolled out, the length, then we'll come back and we'll hoe that down too. You're not gonna get a weed-free garden. You know, if you're a real person, it's not gonna happen. The idea is making it to where everything's not crowded out. Look, see those? There's weeds in those, and we produced hundreds, if not 1,000 pounds of tomatoes out of it. You don't have to have all the weeds out of your garden. You just can't let them overcrowd everything and drown them out. So we're not going to worry about these holes in this plant fabric weed barrier. There it is, and it's more or less straight as it can be for, well, I guess I can move this over, look. All right, good enough. It's pretty straight, and I don't think it'll make a difference because once we get our soil on, it'll cover it up. I am gonna go ahead and just chop this grass off because there's so little of it. If there was a bunch, I might not, but I'm just gonna chop it. I'm not gonna pick it up, I'm just gonna leave it there, and then we'll start putting our bagged garden soil right down the middle right here. There's 13 bags on the floor right there. No, 12 bags. There's 12 bags on the ground right there. And if I had 15, I probably could have gone all the way to the end right here, but I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna take the hoe over it and we're gonna knock out the clods. I don't mean all of them. See, there's some little ones here, but look at this. See these big ones? We're just gonna knock those out like that right there. You'll see why in just a second. Now I'm just gonna take me a leaf rake and we're gonna spread all that out. If you look down there, it looks on that end like it covers up the fabric, but it actually doesn't. It comes right up to it. There's a little bit of grass sticking out right here. Now, I'm not worried about that, and here's why. I'm just putting this fabric down for a little while to kill out what's underneath it, and it'll add some organic matter, you know, the weeds dying off, except for what might pop up through the holes. And then I might come back through and weed eat it or whatever. I'm gonna guess that I will get weeds up through this right here, simply for the fact that there's gonna be weed seed in the garden soil. There's gonna be stuff blow in, and you're just gonna get it, but we're not gonna worry about it real bad. If you hadn't figured it out by now, your garden does not have to be a piece of artwork. It's great if you can make it that way, but it doesn't have to be that way. You're trying to grow stuff. So if you just put in good practices over time, your garden will look nice because you're doing the right things. Are you gonna have weeds? Yeah, you're gonna have some weeds. Don't worry about it. Just like I said earlier in the video, just don't let them overgrow everything. If you gotta get out there early in the morning or late in the evening and pull some by hand, well, it's what you gotta do. But if you've got them in your middles or something like that, you know, just till them under, or if they're not too bad, I guess you could just let them grow a little bit. Don't worry about it. As long as you get what you wanted out of the garden, the other stuff doesn't matter, especially if you got a big garden. This is a 10,000 square foot garden. If I was worried about not having any weeds in this thing and then make them the rest of my life work too, it just wouldn't work. So you got to choose your battles, and I'm okay with a few weeds as long as we get crops out of them. So there's that. What's next? Seeds. Seeds are what's next. We're looking for these. That's right, we're fixing to plant some watermelons on the last day of July. Will it work? Who knows, but we're gonna try it. Our seed spacing is 3 foot apart at 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And right there, you see that? It says frost hardy? No.
If you can do math, you know when 90 days, does it say on here? No, it doesn't say. But you know when 90 days from now is, and that is the 1st of November. Is this gonna work? Again, I don't know. But I think the things that we got going for us are, we're in a high tunnel. I can close it off. I can roll these sides down. I can close the doors. And here's the other thing. I'm not gonna be mad if they don't make, because what we'll do if they don't make is we'll just turn this under, like I said, and incorporate this amendment to the soil. And if it does work and they go 90 days, then guess what? At the end of 90 days, I'll turn them under and incorporate this into the soil. So either way, we're getting something out of it, and we're not really losing anything by planting them. So let's plant some watermelons. That's it, folks. We're just gonna stretch this sucker out right here. We're gonna turn on the water, soak them in real good, and hit the subscribe button. God bless y'all. Have a good night.